he's gonna sell them down the river. I truly believe that. I truly believe Mehdi Hassan was going to sell the Palestinian, but he did it. He did it at the time. Cool. But you know, people get on their own, start their own media company, start trying to get their views and, you know, try to make that conversion over to independent media. And they find out it ain't quite as profitable telling the truth as they thought it was. They found out it wasn't quite as easy to get those views, to get those interviews, to get that stamp of approval, to get those sponsors. They're like, damn, bro, I gotta do everything. So Mehdi Hassan, during his interview with Jill Stein, returned to Mehdi of old.
Cast for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump is an endorsement of genocide. It is an affirmation of genocide.
Lay out for me the steps whereby I go into a voting booth, vote green, and the genocide stops.
Let me put
I don't
it
see that happening.
Clearly, we are creating a very organized coalition that is here for the long haul.
That's right. They were Democrats that were sending cops to campuses to beat up kids on my campus, okay? Coming in riot gear to remove people from encampments.
Yeah. When people are dying en masse from COVID, when he was praising Nazis, doing domestic terrorism, as Butch says, did you ever at any point say, maybe I got that one wrong?
Oh, no.
You said in November 2015, as Assad and Putin were massacring Syrians in their tens of thousands, quote, the US should be working with...
This man said Assad and Putin were massacring Syrians to the tune of tens of thousands. That's just wild to me. But he first of all, Putin was invited by Assad. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you just invite Putin to massacre your people when you could just do it yourself? Well, that's not what happened. What, for those of you who do not know, Assad invited Putin to, Syria and Russia have been allies, but specifically Assad, this Assad now, not his daddy, invited Putin because the US funded terrorists to destroy his country. That's why Putin is there, in case you were curious. That's why. They haven't massacred anybody they've been trying to save Syria. Is these terrorists that the US are funding, because remember, for a long time they kept saying that the US wasn't there, the US isn't there, the US isn't there, and then one day the US just showed up. And they never really gave a reason as to why. Oh, excuse me, no, they said ISIS now is there, so yeah. But it's like, damn, why all the pictures I keep seeing with US troops is them training ISIS? Training rebellions. But yeah, this is Mehdi. He's back in form, guys. He ain't want to disappoint y'all. He said, he ain't want to disappoint y'all. He's like, I don't want y'all to think I'm like, I switched up, guys. I'm still the same old Mehdi.
Syria, Russia, and Iran to restore all of Syria to control by the government. That's the Assad government.
That was an unapproved statement, which was taken down the moment it was...
You seem to have a lot of things online that you don't approve. Would you tell your supporters at home, vote green everywhere, but in those 3 swing states, vote against a domestic terrorist?
What? Bruh.
I would say...
Yeah. You're gonna run that back one more time, because it was just that ridiculous. You're gonna run that back one more time.
Every vote that's cast for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump is an endorsement of genocide. It is an affirmation of genocide.
Lay out for me the step whereby I go into a voting booth, vote green, and the genocide stops. I don't see that happening.
Clearly, we are creating...
Hold on, I don't know why I just thought like that. Give me one second. Can y'all hear that? Or they just decided it's not gonna show? I don't know why I froze. Give me a second, y'all. Just froze up on me. Give me a second. That's crazy. It was not approving. It was not approving. It was like, no, you can't call out Mehdi like that. Oh man. He was so out of pocket that his StreamYard was like, nah, that's wild. Let me pull it back up for y'all. We're gonna watch that again because he was extremely out of pocket.
Every vote that's cast for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump is an endorsement of genocide. It is an affirmation of genocide.
Lay out for me the steps whereby I go into a voting booth, vote green,
Okay.
and the genocide stops.
Let me put
I don't
it
see that
very
happening.
clearly. We are creating a very organized.
So can I just say, do y'all see a situation where you can lay out the steps that voting Democrat instead of green or even Republican stops the genocide? Does that question not go both ways, Mehdi? Like what? What do you, that's a dumbass question. Do I believe that voting for Jill Stein will absolutely stop genocide? No. But what I will not do is reward genocide with my motherfucking vote. That's not gonna happen. I'm not about to be like, hey man, I know y'all are literally, y'all gotta understand, people. It's not like Joe Biden and Kamala are just participating in the genocide, right? It's not like Joe Biden and Kamala are just, part of the genocide. They're not just co-conspirators. If the United States stopped funding Israel right now, Israel would have to cease and desist its operations in both Gaza and the West Bank in a matter of 2 to 3 months. In other words, there is no genocide if Kamala, but Biden right now, but if Kamala doesn't fund it, if the United States doesn't fund it, and if she committed to refusing to continue to fund genocide, it would not happen anymore. That is the path forward. And you, Mehdi, who was fired basically for being Muslim, had a little bit too, your British accent wasn't British enough for your brown skin. They were like, yeah, can't have you. Sorry, peace. He sent out like 3 tweets, and it was like that was over for him. So if that's the hill that you died on, at least your mainstream media career, why not just be consistent, man? And be like, you know what? Talk about how using the power of the Green Party and using the influence that y'all have gained recently can help us stop this genocide, even though we know both parties, obviously, have been willing to continue it. That's the question. Because this is a hill that he's already died on. His career is already died on this fucking hill. So be consistent, bro. But no. Back to business.
Coalition that is here for the long haul.
That's right. They were Democrats that were sending cops to campuses to beat up kids on my campus, okay? Coming in riot gear to remove people from encampments.
Yeah. When people were dying en masse from COVID, when he was praising Nazis, doing domestic terrorism, as Butch says, did you ever at any point say, maybe I got that one wrong?
Oh, no.
You said in November 2015, as Assad and Putin.
I'm going to assume that he's saying that that she got it wrong by running in 2016. First of all, I can't stress enough, it ain't Jill Stein's fault that Hillary refused to campaign in multiple states and be one of the shittiest candidates in history. At that, y'all got to remember this in the context of Donald Trump at that point, it should have been easy to beat him. And Hillary got her ass whooped in a situation that if Bernie had won, even though obviously I'm not a fan of Bernie right now, but if Bernie would have won that primary, he would have mopped Donald Trump. It wouldn't even have been close. Hillary lost. Jill Stein had nothing to do with that. Hillary gave no viable alternative. And yet they still want Jill Stein to do some kind of mea culpa.
Were massacring Syrians in their tens of thousands. Quote, The US should be working with Syria, Russia, and Iran to restore all of Syria to control by the government. That's the Assad government.
That was an unapproved statement, which was taken down the moment it was.
You seem to have a lot of things online that you don't approve. Would you tell your supporters at home, vote green everywhere, but in those 3 swing states, vote against a domestic terrorist?
I would say.
Look, man, you saw Butch's face looking like, I'm gonna let you answer this because if I answer this, I'm gonna knock this motherfucker. He looked like I'm gonna cuss him out. If I have to answer this question, I'm cussing him out. That's what he looked like. And I can't believe. I gotta try to find this. Oh, maybe I bookmarked it. While I was watching it, I remember that I think it was Max that posted that Jen Psaki, he interviewed Jen Psaki, and like the way that he was interviewing her as compared to the way that he was interviewing Jill Stein and Butch Ware, like it was clear that he was basically sent after Jill and Butch to do a hit job. An unsuccessful one, in my opinion. And I think that if Jill and Butch did not handle themselves well, in my opinion, he wouldn't have put the interview behind a paywall. Because that's where it's at right now. It's behind the paywall. You can't watch it in its totality unless you pay for it. And I don't know about y'all. I don't give a damn. I'm not paying to watch Mehdi Hassan talk about a damn thing. It's not happening. Okay, no, I gotta go to his page. But I gotta try to find this for y'all because y'all gotta see the contrast. It's the same way like when I was talking about how Angela Rye was interviewing Butch and Jill compared to how she interviewed Kamala with a bunch of bullshit questions that, you know, it was a puff interview. So yeah, this was Max's comment. While sucking up to Genocide Joe's press secretary and propagandist Jen Psaki, Mehdi did not dare to ask if she considered her boss a war criminal. Once again, that's the hill that Mehdi decided to die on. You would think that maybe he would have some conviction there. Careerists like him are more comfortable slapping that label on targets of Washington and leveraging it to bully anti-war activists. Perfectly said. 100% accurate. Because once again, she was the cover guy. She was easy, breezy, beautiful, kind of, not really. Cover girl for Joe Biden and his genocidal administration at one point. And you ain't got no smoke for her? You don't got no smoke for the administration in general? Like, you literally, your career ended because of this genocide. And you're like, but Trump. I actually am not, I think that Mehdi lives in the U.S. now. I don't think that he lived in the U.S. before, but I know he lives here now. But like, after everything that you've witnessed, you are still saying, but Trump, you're calling Trump a domestic terrorist? Do you understand how asinine that statement is? Trump is a lot of things. He's not a damn domestic terrorist, man. Come on. Why do y'all have to hyperbolize everything? Mean tweets is not equal to domestic terrorism. And Jill Stein and her policies have nothing to do with your desire or lack thereof or other people's desires to vote for Trump or Biden, or Harris. Jill Stein's goal is to convince people to vote for Jill Stein. Jill Stein's goal is not to convince people to vote against Kamala or vote against Trump. That's how Democrats campaign. And the fact, I'm pretty sure that maybe Jill didn't know that they were going to put it behind a paywall. But like the fact that you put that interview behind a paywall lets me know you just wanted confirmation bias. You just wanted meat to feed to your audience. And if anybody's following you because of your coverage of the Gaza situation. I hope that they unsubscribed and I hope that they unfollowed you because what? The one candidate, well, no, she's not the only candidate. Obviously, Claudia, obviously, Dr. West, but I'm saying like the one candidate that actually can mathematically win, like the one candidate that actually can mathematically win, it is completely and totally anti-genocide and understands why that has to be the case and understands the U.S.'s contribution to this genocide. You want to bombard her instead of uplifting her, which basically comes off to me is like you don't really give a damn about the genocide. You felt like you had to speak out against the genocide because of your own personal, ethnic, and religious background. It was even your empathy is opportunistic, basically.